a bit ago, we talked about gut health and how it relates to brain health and how the two are related, because the gut is considered our second brain in many ways. Today, we're going to talk more about gut health, but we are going to be focusing heavily upon enzymes. And Elizabeth Yenca, goes by Beth, is our teacher today, and she is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to enzymes and that sort of thing. So I've asked her to share with us, and Amy also is very, very knowledgeable in that area, so she's going to help. And we've got Tina, who could share a few things too. And I wanted to start with something kind of fun. I actually did this experiment. I've seen it online before, and I thought, I want to try this myself. But I have 2 bowls of oatmeal that I made, and I am going to take our Essential Zyme 4, which, you know, I take this with every first bite of food that I have, and Beth's going to tell us way more about this, but I'm just going to do the simple old, can y'all see? I can't see, can you? Let me try to do this. Okay, so I'm just going to open up these capsules and put it right into this bowl of oatmeal. And I'll show you, I should have shown you the thickness, but I can show it to you on the other bowl. And I'm going to start just stirring it up here. And I'm doing this at the beginning because I want to be able to, it got kind of cold, so now it's going to be hard to stir. I want to do this at the beginning so I can show you the progress throughout our class. Okay, so this is it now. And then here's the one without the enzymes in it, but it's cold too, so now I have to break it up.
You know, Julianne McElroy puts the essential zymes down her shower and stuff.
You know, that's not a bad idea. I actually had a conversation with our septic guy. Yeah, I had a conversation with our septic guy about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I want you to see, okay, first of all, how many people used to use baby food with their kids, right? And did you ever, you know, like be feeding them the oatmeal or the cream of wheat or whatever it was out of the bowl, or the baby food, jarred baby food, out of the bowl? And they've been, you know, you've been doing spoonful after spoonful, so their saliva is getting back into the bowl, right? And you think, they stop eating and you're thinking, I'm not going to waste this, I'm going to save it, and you put it into the refrigerator. And what would happen when you got it out? It would be total liquid, right? It would just be like, okay, this is gross, this is ruined. It's the enzymes that were in their saliva that did that. It literally liquefied the food. So this is what, and y'all saw how thick this was, right? Look at it already. And this is just, you know, not even a minute later, I'm seeing liquid in here, but it's starting. And I will show you in a few minutes, or, you know, when we get breaks, I'll just show you how it progresses. But it's literally already, I'm getting liquid. And this was thick and hard. I mean, you can see it over here. It's like, just like big clumps. So pretty cool. Can y'all see the liquid in here? I don't know if you can see it. It's like, see how it's already just getting sloppy, just like the baby food. That's what it reminded me of. As soon as I did it, I'm like, oh, that reminds me of the baby food. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and give the floor to Beth, and we're going to get moving here.
Hey, everyone, had to unmute because, as you can hear, the dogs start to go crazy. All right, so bear with me. I'm using 2 technologies. I've got my notes on my phone, so I can then share my screen so you guys can see the pretty little graphic I made. And also I have the same thing that I'm going to put in as a PDF to for you guys to print and download, so you can have just a quick, easy reference. Everything that I put on there was found in the essential oils desk reference. I have like 7 different versions, but it's a compilation of all of those, even including the newest one that they had, although I have found that they don't have all the enzymes in there. So I like the older ones just because it has all the things. And there is a chapter in there called The Building Blocks of Health, and it talks specifically about enzymes. So I just kind of took the highlights that I found that were super helpful. So quick background about me. I am a mom to 4. I had to have my gallbladder taken out. Let's see, Cordy will be 11 this year. So 11 years ago, I have to math with kids because, brain cells are gone by the time you have that 4th kid. And so 11 years ago, I had my gallbladder taken out and did not realize how much damage that was going to do to my gut health. Your gallbladder stores the bile that helps break down your food, that gets fed through the little tubes into your stomach. And little known point, your gallstones do not start in your gallbladder. They actually start in your liver and travel through. So things you learn while going through that ordeal. So enzymes are absolutely important to your health. If you ever have your gallbladder taken out, you need extra bile. I now, on top of enzymes, have to take ox bile. So if you have ever had your gallbladder taken out, look into that supplement. It's not something Young Living carries, but there are a couple of good brands out there that you can get, and it's definitely necessary for digestion. Other than that, I do take enzymes. I personally love Essential Zymes 4 because it has 2 capsules and they break down all the things. And I actually keep all the enzymes in my house because they all do many different things. So enzymes are vital to your health. They are the basis of everything. They help keep your body functioning. Enzymes help break molecules apart or even put them together. And so to make the cells in your body work properly, there are specific enzymes for each chemical reaction. I am not going to go over all of those because there are so many enzymes. We could be here for hours upon hours. It's more like a college level course, and I don't want to waste all your time with that. So it's a lot to read. There's a wealth of information in the essential oil desk references, and you can do a lot of research online and just see a lot of information out there. There are 2 major enzyme systems. You have metabolic enzymes, which help run all of your body systems, your gallbladder, pancreas, liver, etc. Those different things all need enzymes. You need enzymes to be able to help move, see, hear, feel. And one thing I found interesting while looking in the desk reference was that one researcher found over 98 enzymes carrying out metabolic functions in the arteries alone. That's a lot of enzymes. Digestive enzymes, of course, are in your digestive tract. They break down the food you eat for better nutrition absorption. So those are found, they start in your stomach and they just work their way down through your gut, which is why you want to make sure you're taking a good probiotic. A lot of our items have prebiotics in them, like amino-wise, and enzymes are basically amino acids in the long and short of it. So we all need enzymes. Babies need enzymes, adults need enzymes. Amylase, which is one of the enzymes that we have, well, actually that we actually don't have. We find this in the saliva adults, but babies don't make amylase when they're born. They're too little. So amylase, in order for them to break down breast milk, is found in the mother's breast milk. So it's actually there in an overabundance to help that baby digest breast milk. So the babies, it's not an accident that happened. God knew that if the baby produced the enzymes and it was in the breast milk, the baby would get, sorry about the dogs in the background, the babies would have too much enzymes, and so it would not be beneficial or good for the baby to have that much amylase. So the babies don't start producing amylase till later. I'm not sure exactly what age that they start producing it, but they do eventually start to produce it on their own. I found that quite amazing. I had no clue that our bodies worked that cool when I was nursing our kids. So finding this out, I'm like, oh, okay, this is really cool. Sorry, I tried to scroll on my computer, but not on my phone. Enzymes need to be stored in a cool location. I personally just keep mine out on the counter because it's out of the way of the sun and heat. You don't want them to get above 120 degrees because it will completely destroy any enzymes. So don't leave them in your car. Don't leave them anywhere that they can get too hot or anything like that, because it does start to deteriorate. At 118 degrees is when the deterioration starts. 120 degrees is when they are just gone. The easy way for you to think about this is we often get our milk from the store. If you do, it's been pasteurized. That pasteurization process kills all the bad bacteria, the good bacteria, and every enzyme that was in there that cow made in that milk. A lot of people can drink raw milk, but they cannot drink processed milk because of the process that kills all those enzymes. My family is able to drink raw milk with the exception of me. I actually am not a good friend with lactose and dairy right now. So I don't drink dairy, but my kids can drink raw milk without any issues. But when they drink processed milk from a store, we get the belly aches, we get the cramps, and I'm like, go get some Digive and some enzymes and take those. You'll be fine in a couple of hours. And they typically are. They make it through that. But they learn, okay, we just don't drink milk unless it's raw milk. So that's the easiest example I found to explain why we don't want to heat our enzymes and why you want to keep them on your counter. You can keep them in your fridge. It's not gonna, but on your counter is safe unless you live where like near a volcano or something and it gets really, really hot. So something else that I found really cool was that they said, the book said, Mightyzyme is safe for little ones to take because it has the enzymes that their body is starting to make, but might not have a good quantity of, especially if they didn't get a lot of good nutrition as an infant. We need to kind of boost those enzymes up. So 1 to 2 a day can help their body. I have also taken them because I kind of like the taste of it, that orangey cream taste, kind of yummy. And around the age of 10 is when they can start taking the adult enzymes because it has a broader panel of enzymes and they're a little bit stronger. But I've given the adult enzymes to my kids when they were 6, 7, 8 years old. So, and they had no issues. And that's just because that was what we had at the house at the time. So now I'm going to share my screen. All right. So here are the 6 main things that I consider top priorities in my home. And I think everyone should at least have a mix of some of those, if not just at least 2 or 3 of them in your home. I'll start with the one I actually started with. The very first enzyme I started with was Essentialzyme. And I didn't know it at the time, but this one is probably the most important one for you to have because it has HCl in it, which is hydrochloric acid. And most people suffer from a lack of stomach acid versus too much. And hydrochloric acid actually helps to break down all of the fats and all of the proteins that you ingest on a daily basis. I actually take extra hydrochloric acid on top of Essentialzyme because I have little to no stomach acid. And because I'm in my 40s now, apparently there's this thing that when you start to get older, which I am not claiming that I'm not old yet, but as you get older, you supposedly lose stomach acid. And I don't want to have an issue digesting my food. So I take extra on top of my Essentialzyme. I do love Essentialzyme because it's probably the easiest one I've ever taken. I didn't know it at the time, but they suggest you take it first thing in the morning before you eat any food. I have to time mine a little bit different because I take thyroid medication, so I have to be careful of how that works. But most people can take this first thing in the morning to help their body start to work. And it actually is very good for supporting your pancreas, believe it or not. It'll help support your pancreas, and your pancreas is what supports your blood sugars, your glucose, which is very important, especially if you deal with diabetes or are a type 2 diabetic. This is one you want to take daily. Just 1 to 2 pills a day in the morning is what's recommended. And I found out it was recommended in the morning by, if you open your essential oil desk reference book. If you don't have one, find a way to get one before they go bye-bye. But this book right here has some of the cheat sheet that I typed up on here on that you'll see towards the bottom. But this is the best information, and it gives you what to start in the morning, what to take at bedtime. I love it, and I kind of follow that religiously. But this book, this enzyme is great because it supports your pancreas and it also helps your liver. I was diagnosed with non-alcoholic fatty liver disorder. Let's see, second child is 16 this year, so probably 17-ish years ago, but they didn't make a big deal about it. They should have, because it is a precursor to type 2 diabetes. So you want enzymes to support your liver. I have reversed non-alcoholic fatty liver disorder, not just through making sure I take my enzymes, but diet as well and exercise. So it can be done. It is work, but it is worth every penny of that work that you put in. You can take this daily. It is a bi-layer tablet. It does taste minty. It's not horrible if it does get stuck, but it can get stuck occasionally and start to break down, and you'll feel peppermint hitting your throat. So it's a thing. Don't worry about it, but it's good for you. It'll help break down those starches and proteins and fats. It should be taken at least an hour before meals, 30 minutes to an hour at the least. I would say 30 minutes, especially if you have low stomach acid. I would probably take it an hour before meals. The next one, and this was the one that got me sold on making sure I had enzymes in my house, and this is the one I like to keep on hand, and the one my kids take all the time, is Essential Enzymes 4. I do a low carb, high fat, decent protein diet, so I need this one because it helps target the meat that I eat down that sits in your gut. Meat tends to sit lower in your digestive system, and so Essential Enzymes 4, the delay release capsule, which is the yellow capsule, it works lower in your digestive tract, which targets the meat. The white capsule acts faster and can help break down those carbs and fiber. And so you can take them separately. And at the bottom of this page, you'll see what capsules are recommended for what types of food. But these are the two that I keep in my house at all time. I've unfortunately had to occasionally, I forgot to order Allerzyme or Detoxzyme or even Mightyzyme for my kids. But Allerzyme was actually designed to help the digestive system of those who are more prone to food sensitivities. It's like if you have a gluten sensitivity, dairy sensitivity, I'm not saying you should eat those necessarily, but this one is great to take if you have food sensitivities. It can be used for relief of occasional bloating, gas, pain, and cramping that occurs after eating. It is a vegetarian enzyme and contains lactase to help digest dairy products. They suggest for this one you take in between meals or in the morning. The next one is, let's see, you see the chat. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I would say you could take all three of these staggered. And that's what I've done before. Like I'll take some in between meals. I've even taken Essential Enzymes 4 in between meals if I feel like I didn't get enough digestive health. So, and sometimes I've even taken Essential Enzymes 4 at night before bed just to kind of help with digestion. And that's like if I forget to keep Detoxzyme in my house. So the next one that I'll highlight is Detoxzyme, and these are all the adult enzymes. Detoxzyme actually has cayenne powder in it, and it is very strong in taste. I do not recommend letting that one get stuck, but its capsule is like very tiny. It's like maybe half an inch in size, and it is super, super tiny. It is vegetarian based and also contains lactase to help digest those dairy products. It is very fast acting and can be taken with meals. It is also good to help in detoxification, which is why they actually recommend this one be taken at night at bedtime to help your body digest and break things down as you sleep. And of course, we all know we shouldn't eat too soon before bed either, which I am unfortunately not the best at remembering. Oh, wait, Amy, I don't remember. Which one was mine? Okay. Drinking wine. Oh, I don't know which one that one's for. Stacy, you're
No,
gonna have to specify that one.
I don't remember which one. Oh no, it was Essential Zyme. It was Essential Zyme. Because
Okay.
yeah, she had us cracking up, but she told us once that it helps people who have trouble drinking or tolerating wine. And I was like, are you sure about that? Or is that just
Maybe because it supports the liver. That's my guess.
maybe so. And
That
if it is breaking things down, it's still,
Yeah.
I didn't know if you knew anything about that.
No, I don't. I wasn't in the room when that conversation was had, but dude, I needed to be in that room. Okay. All right, let me go back. I have to close the chat again. All right, so that's Detoxzyme. And like I said, the capsules on that one and even Allerzyme are really tiny. So I've had my kids take those before, and because when they were little, they couldn't take the big ones like Essential Zymes 4 or Essential Zyme even. It wasn't until they got to be like 9, 10-ish that they could take Essential Zyme and Essential Zyme 4. So Allerzyme and Detoxzyme, I would keep on hand. Like if you want a little bit stronger enzyme for your kids, but don't want them to worry about the size of them, those two are real tiny and real easy to take. And even my kids, when they were younger, could actually take them. So, but they also say you can open the capsule and sprinkle it on food, like Stacy showed with sprinkling the Essential Zymes on the oatmeal. What's the update on that one, Stacy?
Oh, you want to see? Well,
We're
we're screen sharing.
Oh, that's true. We are screen sharing.
Are you, why don't we do it right as soon as you're finished with the screen sharing?
Okay.
It is
we can do
totally
that.
getting liquidy though. It's like,
Cool. All right. So the next one is the kids enzyme Mighty Zyme. And like I said, this one actually tastes really good. I like this one just because of the taste, and because I'm a taste person, I like how things taste. And if I had to chew an enzyme, I would take Mighty Zyme because it actually tastes really good.
mhm.
It is specifically designed for children and their growing systems. It contains specific enzymes that help break down proteins, peptides, the sugars we aren't able to digest, like cellulose, and then fats and lactase. It can relieve occasional symptoms of fullness, bloating, and intestinal discomfort. And of course, as we've highlighted already, it tastes good. So the last one that I actually threw on here, even though it's not an actual enzyme, is Digest and Cleanse. And I do like this. I discovered this one when I did the nutritive 5-day cleanse that Young Living has with the Ningxia Red, this, and one of the protein powders. I don't remember which one, but it had this with it, and it really helps to put it nicely, to help move things along. And you take it 30 to 60 minutes before a meal. It comes in this little itty bitty gel capsule, so it's not like a regular capsule that you could open, although I'm sure you could, but it's because it's in a gel capsule, it's specifically designed to start digesting further down into your system. And so you don't necessarily want to open it, but I found this one important just because if you're struggling with breaking things down, this is a really good starter thing. You could probably take this and Essential Zyme at the same time just to get a good powerhouse of enzymes and gastrointestinal activity to help keep things moving. So scrolling down to this last half of the page, and like I said, this is all taken from the desk reference. I just wanted to make it easy because not everyone has a desk reference. And if you don't, if you can snag one, you should get one. Let me see. Does essential enzymes 4 have hydrochloric acid? I want to say it
think
does
it does.
not.
I thought that was the one
Yeah.
that did have it.
Regular essential enzymes has it, but not essential enzymes 4,
Oh, I thought it was
which
the
is
other
why
way
I
around.
keep both.
Okay.
That's why I keep both. Let's see. But I'm fairly certain of that because I remember thinking if I could get all of my sting out of one, yeah, it does not have essential the HCl in it.
Okay, good to know.
So let's see. Any other questions? Trying to make sure I get everything. Balance, complete, or power meal. Yes, those were the two that you could do with that cleanse. All right, so standard doses for each meal. Enzymes, you can take 2 to 4, and children can take 1 to 2. Babies, you can actually open them up or crush them, give them just a smidgen. If you have those smidgen dash pinch like measuring spoons, you could start with the smallest one is where I would start. Did see another question in there. Yes, you can open the capsule of Essential Enzyme 4. Both the white and the yellow are able to be opened. And so the way this little chart works is the bold enzyme, the first one, which is bold, should be bolded. If not, I will correct it. Those are usually the first choice of enzymes. And then you can do it, you can use it with any combination of any of the others as desired. Essential enzyme is a caplet, and the Essential Enzymes 4 yellow is specifically for proteins, carbs, sugars, and starches, and the white is for fats. And I found that in the desk reference. So they recommend in the desk reference to start your morning with Essential Enzyme. 2 to 4 for adults. Children can take 1 or 2, or they can take Mighty Zyme 1 to 3. Babies could take, I would start with just like the smidgen or the pinch, whichever one is smaller. So just as they start to eat more solid foods, just sprinkle that on whatever food they're eating and it'll help them. Essential Enzyme is an overall enzyme that supports the pancreas, which produces the glucose, which your body needs throughout the day for energy. The rest of this is pretty self-explanatory, and it makes a lot of sense when you read about what the different enzymes are in each enzyme supplement that we have, like whether it's peptin or lipase or amylase or all those different things. There's so many enzymes that are out there, and Young Living really does a good job of making sure they have a good variety of choices for you to use, even taking into consideration if you're a vegetarian and need your enzymes to be vegetarian based. So for those things, they have done really well to make sure we have a good variety to be able to help our bodies. As you see down at the very bottom, at bedtime, they recommend using Detox Zyme at the end to help your body just kind of get rid of everything and give your body a fresh reset. And like I said, sometimes I've been out of Detox Zyme and I know it the next day or as time goes on, and I miss those things. So I definitely recommend having all the enzymes in your house so you can utilize them. But this is, I hope this guide is helpful for you guys. I'm going to make sure that Stacy has the PDF so she can post it in the groups so you all can have it. But like I said, it's also in your desk reference.
I'm curious as to why the Essential Zyme instead of the Essential Zyme 4, where did it go? protein of any kind, essential enzyme 4.
I
And
wondered
that's
that
what you would
too.
need the hydrochloric acid for.
I wondered that too, because I need the hydrochloric acid.
Right.
So, and then this is from like the most recent, which edition is this? I have the 7th edition on me, and then this is the new one that Life Science did before they decided they weren't doing those. So
Let me look in the 3rd edition real quick.
yeah, I don't have, well, no, I do. It's just in my other room where children are hiding.
Yeah.
Let me see.
They're sequestered.
I bribed them to be quiet. I gave them devices and said, please go be quiet.
Okay, I'm gonna
Let's
look
see.
this up in here real quick.
All right, going back to questions. If you have dairy allergies, you can take. I wouldn't say that you wouldn't have any problem, but it is, I would say it is a possibility that you might be able to handle dairy products better. I wouldn't say for sure. It would be something you'd have to test yourself. I personally can't, because as soon as I consume dairy, I lose my voice, and it's weird. My body just does not like dairy, and so I'm
Now,
very sad.
I think she's asking if she would react to the enzymes themselves
Oh,
because they have lactase. The lactase is
oh, okay,
what breaks down the
okay,
it's the enzyme that breaks down what you normally have trouble
okay.
digesting in dairy. So you shouldn't react to the enzymes. Now, whether or not it'll
No,
completely
you
get
shouldn't.
rid of your reaction, that
Yeah.
just depends on how serious of a reaction you have, I would think. But it will definitely help.
Yeah, I will say I have taken, so if I ever have acid reflux in the middle of the night that wakes me up, which has happened, I will take 6 essential enzyme 4. I take 3 of each capsule, and then I follow that by a double dose of alkaline chaser and 8 ounces of water, and I sit up for about 30 minutes to let that process through and reset my gut, and then I'm able to go to bed. But it takes the enzymes and alkaline to knock out acid reflux.
So I can't
For me.
even look up essential enzyme 4 in the 3rd edition because it didn't exist yet.
Okay. It must have been a new product that summer after they came out at convention. I was gonna say, I don't even think I have a 4th edition. I think I came in at the 5th or 6th.
This is definitely an early edition. To that. Oh, this was the 4th printing. What's the original printing? It doesn't say what the original printing is. I know this. I know I bought this in 2015, but it was an old one then. So, and I remember when the 4 came out. Essential enzyme 4. Okay, y'all want to see now?
Yes, we are ready.
She's frozen.
Oh Lordy. Oh, there she is.
There we are.
You were
Look at that.
frozen. Whoa.
Oh my
Oh, you're
God.
kidding. Did you see how you saw the thick stuff?
No.
Here's
you didn't
side
think
by
you could.
side.
There you go.
I could literally probably turn this bowl upside down and it wouldn't come out. But look, you see how that liquid? It's just like completely.
It's soup.
Yep.
All right. Well, it pretty much concludes my side of things. I don't know if you guys are more than free to, and if you want to ask questions, if I have an answer, or anyone else wants to pipe in, Amy, Stacy,
Yeah, we'll keep this real conversational. And if anybody has any questions, just unmute and jump right in. And I think Amy might have had something to share.
So
I'm sorry, am I putting? I thought you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So you know how I always do when I start researching something, then I'm like, holy cow, this could be a 2-hour long call. But I think what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start making blog posts out of my little research sessions, and then whoever wants to get geeky in science, he can go read the blog post. But anyway, what I really wanted to talk about is something that I have actually been dealing with. So it's kind of like a testimonial / throw a little science in there with it, that because I always have to research why things are working for me and that type of thing. But I was actually diagnosed with having a hiatal hernia when I was 20 years old and weighed like 100 pounds. So it had nothing to do with me being overweight. It was just, I woke up like feeling like someone was jabbing a knife through my stomach to my back, screaming in pain, and had no idea what was wrong with me. I thought I had an ulcer. And they did an endoscope and found out that I had a hiatal hernia. And they said, this has to be congenital because you're 20 years old and you're 100 pounds. So, anyway, so, but now I know it's hard to tell what could have caused it. But anyway, I have a hiatal hernia. So I've always, but I really haven't ever had super bad acid reflux like they would anticipate that I would have with a hiatal hernia. And I've never had it checked since then because I frankly don't go to doctors very often, and I just don't go in to have an endoscope for no reason. But anyway, so when I was pregnant, I had horrible acid reflux, like absolutely horrible. But when I'm not pregnant, until about 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't have it very often, unless I, like was stupid and ate Taco Bell at 8 o'clock at night or something. But anyway, so, but lately I've been having it so badly. I mean, like for the past year, I would say 6 months to a year, I've been having it so badly. And so I'm like throwing all the, try not to take like Tums, but throwing like, other supplements that are supposed to be antacids at it. And I'd take like 5 or 6 of them and it would not do anything. I'd still have such bad heartburn, acid reflux at night. It's always at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what in the world? Well, sometimes now it's even getting to where it's just after I eat. It doesn't have to be at night. And so then I started noticing that I started feeling, I just really felt like my food was not digesting. Like I would eat a meal, especially, my last meal, biggest meal of the day. And I would sit there for like 3 or 4 hours and be like, I literally feel like I ate too much, even if I wouldn't eat a huge amount, just like a regular amount of food. And then I would just sit there and be miserable for like 4 or 5 hours. And I would just feel like my food was not leaving my stomach. That's the best I can describe it. And so it was making me crazy because I was literally miserable. I could not eat without being miserable. And I love to eat. So, I hate being miserable when I eat. So anyway, so then I had already read before about how a lot of people have low stomach acid, but I thought, well, duh, I'm the world's worst at telling people what they can do to fix themselves, but then not doing it for myself because I get busy. You know how moms do. Well, I do that with health stuff sometimes. So I started to completely nix the antacid stuff, and I just started to take essential enzymes because they have the HCl in them. And I did notice that helped me some. And so then I ordered some HCl so I could do even more of it. And I talked to my functional medicine doctor, and she told me to take the HCl and see how much of it I could tolerate without feeling like I had immediate acid reflux. So like when I'm eating, I take maybe like 2 of the capsules. And then if I don't get like an immediate, like I feel like I have acid reflux reaction, then try 3 the next time, and then figure out which one how much I can tolerate to where it helps me to not have the acid reflux at night, but it doesn't cause immediate acid reflux, if that makes sense. So that's what I did. And I'm still doing the essential enzymes because it just has other good stuff in it besides the HCl. So that's what I did. And I noticed for the first time in like a year, I have actually been able to get relief from this crazy. And I don't have the feeling that my food is sitting in my stomach. So, like I said, we could do like a 2-hour class on this. And I'm going to write a blog post up about it. But what I wanted to tell you guys is that there's a lot of research out there now that's showing that most people that have GERD and chronic acid reflux have a lack of stomach acid rather than having too much. And so and there's a lot of research that's showing now, there's a lot of doctors. I found several articles from very reputable clinicians saying that they think that 90% or more of people who have GERD have low stomach acid.
Wow.
And one of the ways that you can tell if this is true is that there's a direct correlation with getting older and your stomach acid being lower. And there is also a huge direct correlation with having GERD and acid reflux as you get older. And the reason this is super important is because, for one, you don't want to be miserable from eating. And two, you're not going to get your nutrients from your food if they're not being broken down right. So if you don't have enough acid, you're not breaking down your food like you're supposed to, and you're not going to get your nutrition, trace minerals, all those things. It can cause low iron, it can cause low magnesium, it can cause all sorts of things. But another reason that's important is because protein inhibitors, protein pump inhibitors are being prescribed. It's a $10 billion industry. Okay. It's one of the most highly prescribed medications in America. And they are horrible for you. Okay. They're horrible for you. It's kind of like Miralax. They never were intended, even when they were made by Big Pharma, they never were intended to be used for more than 2 weeks max at a time. But yet, how many people do you know that are taking Prevacid or another one of the protein pump inhibitors for life, and they never stop taking them? Okay, there is a direct correlation with dementia, B12, severe B12 deficiency, because what they do is they stop you from making pepsin. And so when you don't make pepsin, then you can't absorb B12. So just bad stuff. You do not want to take protein pump inhibitors if you absolutely can keep from it. And so the alternative is figuring out what's causing you to have the acid reflux. And in most cases, they're finding that it's because you have low stomach acid and not high. So this is just another reason to take your essential enzymes, because it has HCl in it. Do you guys have questions? Let me look at my notes real quick. Some things that I want to tell you guys, some things that can cause you to have low stomach acid. Well, first of all, taking PPIs, if you've been taking them, obviously, you're going to knock it out completely. And you're not going to be making stomach acid at all. You also can have something called autoimmune gastritis. And that's where your immune system actually destroys your parietal cells, which create the acid. So a lot of people have that, along with other autoimmune disorders. You can have an H. pylori infection the H. pylori bacteria, if you're infected with them, make an enzyme that neutralizes your stomach acid. So a lot of people have that and don't even know they have it. And it also can be caused by low iodine, choline. There's a lot of trace minerals that can cause you to have low stomach acid, which the functional medicine doctor that I worked with on my hormones told me that he tests all his patients and found out that like over 95% of them are iodine deficient. So it's an American thing. We don't get it in our diet. So that's actually the HCl that I've been taking, Stacy. So yeah, and my daughter takes their iron also. So you also, a lot of people that have Hashimoto's will have low stomach acid. It's something that can lead, like I said before, to B12 deficiency, which can also be called pernicious anemia. And so it just causes a lot of problems. And most people have low instead of high. Even though you think you have high acid, you really have low acid, and it's causing your stomach to not digest your food. It also causes you to have a buildup of bacteria in your small intestine, which is called SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. That's rampant in America right now. And that will cause you to have the bacteria that are in your small intestine are not getting, because if your acid is low, then you're not, you've got all these organisms that are not supposed to be there that are there. because you're not killing the microbes like you're supposed to, the bad ones. And so if you have this buildup of bacteria in your small intestine, then it causes pressure because they release gas. Bacteria make gas, especially the bad ones. And that will cause you to feel like your acid is coming up your throat, when it's actually the pressure from your small intestine and the bacteria and the gas that they're creating that's making you feel like that. It can make you feel bloated. It can make you have gas, all that fun stuff. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of this. And like I said, I'm going to write a long blog post about this. There's tons more information on it. But stay away from PPIs if you possibly can. They're horrible for you. And now you can buy them over the counter. So people just walk into Walmart and buy them, and most people don't even know how they work. So you guys can ask questions if you have questions about that. If not, I will post when I put this on my blog, I'll post the link in the Common Sense group.
I don't have anybody that's actually used it, but I know in my research that SIBO can be dealt with oregano oil as well, but you have to be very consistent. And I think you have to be very consistent for like 3 months. It takes longer. You have to be committed, but it's not going to kill. It's not going to mesh. It's not going to wreck your gut like antibiotics would. Yeah. And that's the only other alternative if you've got that overgrowth already going.
Yep. Somebody's talking about papaya. That's true. Pineapple also. But the big thing that's in pineapple that helps with this is bromelain, which is also in, I believe it's in essential enzymes. Am I right? Or is it 4? It's one of the 2.
It's in 4.
Okay. So, and it may be in both. But
yeah,
bromelain is actually found in the stem of the pineapple. So when you eat pineapple, you do get some of it, but you don't get as much concentrated. So this is concentrated. You're getting more of that.
Yeah, that's good. I'm trying to remember. My brain just went numb here. The honey, that the really good honey that has
Manuka.
Yes, Manuka honey. Thank you. I kept wondering, like, not Melaleuca. Yes, Manuka honey. That's also supposed to be one that's really good for SIBO, which kind of, I avoided that one because I try to avoid sugar at large amounts of that, and you would need to be taking that regularly to deal with it. But that is, if you're going to be doing honey, do that one.
Mm-hmm.
Can SIBO cause infection? I have a friend that has an infection of some sort in her colon.
It is an infection.
Yeah, it is an infection. And so yeah, I mean, if you've got a raging infection in your colon, it could cause, even more issues too, because now you've got bad things going on.
It's basically just, you always have good and bad bacteria in your entire gut. And so it's basically when the bad ones, which is an infection, are overpowering the good ones.
You actually have the back. I'm trying to remember. Okay, in the large intestine can handle certain bacteria that the small intestine can't. But those bacteria get into the small intestine because there's an overgrowth going on.
And of course, the treatment in modern medicine is antibiotics for that. So
and it's
then you're going to kill your good bacteria.
Right.
And it's a monster antibiotic that they use too, like really heavy duty.
Stacy, would you like for me to share a little bit?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Tina is knowledgeable. She's a nutritionist, and so she has knowledge in all areas of our products, our supplements, and everything. So thank you, Tina.
That's funny that you think that, but I'm actually a holistic practitioner. Nutrition is not part of my title, but we do study quite a bit of it. But 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and given a stack of prescriptions. And I knew, based on my siblings and my family history of drug addiction, based on prescription drug addiction, that I did not want to partake. And so I hit my knees in prayer and really asked God to show me ways to heal my body naturally. And he's been faithful. Just Googling foods that cause inflammation. Top of the list, there's sugar and flour, all your wheat products that are, contaminated with glyphosate, which is Roundup. I didn't know what a GMO was. I didn't know why people were buying organic food 10 years ago. But I had to learn. And as I learned, my body began to heal. We incorporated raw milk. The source was Nigerian dwarf dairy goats that we had here on the farm. We are no longer raising them at this point because we're empty nesters and our help has moved out. But we definitely address a lot of things with diet first. And when you start looking at some of this education and you look at some of these documentaries where you realize just how contaminated our food is, it'll make you want to grow everything you eat. But it'll also help you realize why we should be eating organic only as much as possible. It would help you to realize why we love Thieves Fruit and Veggie Soak for all produce, including your eggs and including those that have been bought with an organic label. Roundup shows up on nearly every one of my clients' scans. It shows up as glyphosate. It's in our water. It's everywhere. And the problem with Roundup, and in addition to all the other problems that we've talked about with the microbiome in the gut, is it causes the intestinal permeability. You may have heard of leaky gut. During my healing journey, I saw a naturopath who did some testing on me and said, "You don't have fibromyalgia. You never did." So for those of you that don't know, that's an autoimmune condition. If you get a positive ANA on your blood test, that means that you have an autoimmune. But if you test negative on everything that they do have tests for, then they pretty much kind of give you that label of fibromyalgia. And so with that, she had said, you never did have it. And I knew in my heart I didn't have it. I didn't have a lot of the things that I knew that other people I had been in contact with had dealt with it. But she said that I had chronic mucocutaneous yeast that was through a leaky gut and had settled in my joints and muscles. So it made sense when I cleaned up my diet and took away the sugar and the wheat. I was starving the candida. And of course, through our journey with Young Living, we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary with Young Living. I absolutely love and live on enzymes and our Life 9. I listed some food items that you can take. Some of them are dairy, but you can get a nut-based or a plant-based version. When you're looking at things like yogurt, definitely don't get the yogurt that's sweetened. Get the unsweetened organic. If you can make it out of raw milk, that would be even better. But with your fermented foods, those are going to help your body to create more HCl. And when we were going through our certification with Trinity for holistic health professional and the holistic health practitioner, pretty much every case study that we did started with HCl. Like if you look at the American diet and you look at the typical American, most people, we are starting with their gut health. When we can get their gut health moving in the right direction, no pun intended, then we can see overall changes in the body very rapidly. So just a couple of fun facts. If you're not having a bowel movement 15 to 30 minutes after every meal, then you're probably not moving very well. Your bowel movements should be 2 to 3 a day if that's how many meals you're eating. You should be having your first bowel movement about 15 to 30 minutes after your feet hit the floor in the morning. You should be consuming about half of your body weight in ounces of purified water every single day. Now, a lot of people are, drinking a couple of Yeti fulls of water and thinking that's enough. Previously, you would hear that 8-ounce glasses was enough, but I'm sorry, but 8-ounce glasses, that's 64 ounces. I don't weigh 128 pounds. So I weigh a lot more than that. So we all should be getting half of our body weight in ounces a day. You would not flush your toilet with tea or coffee or soda. you flush your toilet with water. Same thing in your body. Your tea, however wonderful, I love my brewed tea, both cold over ice and hot. It cannot count as your water intake. Your coffee cannot count as your water intake. In fact, your coffee and your tea counts as a diuretic. If you're pregnant or nursing, you need even more than half your body weight. Okay. So lots of fun things to learn about gut health. I did a video, gosh, it's been a couple of years ago. I just put the link in the chat. It's an enzymes video, and I basically took all of our notes from Trinity and talked about the different enzymes, like your amylase, your protease, lactase, all of the tases, right? And held up a note card with everything that enzyme has a function in the human body. And then I could tell you where it was found in a Young Living product. So I love that video because it really helps people go, just like the chart that Beth provided for us. Thank you, Beth. Showed foods. So people say, well, what enzymes do I need? I'm like, well, what kind of foods do you eat? Because that's what the enzymes are there for. They're designed to break down certain types of foods. There was a question in the chat about dairy. That's why Gary created Allerzyme. Dairy by nature, whether you're lactose intolerant or allergic to dairy, or you have like the same issue or similar issue that Beth described with having a hoarse voice, your dairy is pretty much going to create mucus, even the raw dairy. So mucus can be a good thing, but it can also be too much. And so Allerzyme, if you're going to have some ice cream, have some Allerzyme with it. It's just going to help your body get that processed even better. I know in Young Living, we have a thing, we say there's an oil for that. And I have said it, I've worn the shirt, I've seen seen it everywhere, right? Hashtag there's an oil for that. However, I've changed my thinking, because if we consider that there's an oil or insert enzyme for that in everything that we do, and we don't change our lifestyle, then we are actually just replacing medicine with natural health remedies. And we believe that the body was created to heal itself. We have to give it the right environment. So you shouldn't have to be on any supplement for the rest of your life, or any medication for the rest of your life. So if we follow some of these wonderful recipes that people have been sharing in this Feasting Foodies group, and we really start working with what's on our plate and what we're putting in our mouth, and start looking at food as the energy source that it is for our body, and not, oh, this is what my mom and my grandmother made, it's tradition. Yes, we don't want to take away from some of that, and food is comfort. But for the most part, 80% of the time, we should be eating food to nourish our body. Intuitively eating food that we know our body craves and needs. There are food scans available that help you to know energetically what your body needs. There are tests that you can do to find out how your body's digesting. I suggest everybody needs a little roll of the litmus paper. You can get it on Amazon. You can test your urine, you can test your saliva, and it tells you what your pH is. You can do that at home. It's super easy. But you literally dip it in I keep communion cups around to spit in, and of course little party cups to take a urine sample in, dip the litmus paper in, and there's a little chart on the roll that'll tell you what your number is, to compare the color of the litmus paper with the chart. And based on that, you're going to know the speed of your digestion. So if you're acidic with your saliva and you are alkaline with your urine, you're running at 2 different speeds. And there are 5 different patterns that can be formed. And I have a whole nother video on that too, that I did with Stacy Kimbrell in one of the classes we did a couple of months ago. I've got the video somewhere, Stacy does. So anyway, that helps you to track like what foods are causing me to be out of balance. People ask me, what do I think about alkaline water? I'm like, well, do you know what your pH is? Because if you're already alkaline and you drink alkaline water, you could be pushing yourself too far into the alkalinity. If you're acidic, one good thing you can do, and I wouldn't do it very long, but just a few mornings, squeeze a half of a fresh organic lemon into distilled water and drink that before you have anything in your body, especially coffee. I like my coffee, but coffee is acidic. You can buy coffee that's less acidic. So there's so many little things that can make a big difference along the way, but really truly realizing what we can do to heal and seal our gut, what we can do to get rid of caked on years of fecal matter that could be sitting in a megacolon. Getting rid of that stuff is going to help you far more than just stacking your supplements and expecting them to do that for you. Yes, they're there for us for a reason, and we should be taking them, but we should be taking them along with the lifestyle. So one of my favorite cleanses, I know Beth mentioned the 5-day nutritive cleanse. My husband and I did that just before the new year. We felt great. We did use the power meal just because it was what I had on hand. But a longer term cleanse is in a book called Inner Transformations Using Essential Oils by Dr. Leanne Dearduff. And her colon cleanse includes the comfort tone. It includes the essential zyme, the digestion cleanse that Beth mentioned, which was a great thing to mention along with the enzymes. There's a whole protocol where you ramp up. If you choose to do this cleanse, you ramp up with these enzymes and with the comfort tone, and you eventually are looking for that mucoid plaque to shed itself. So different people are on that cleanse for 6 weeks, 18 months. It depends on how far you are into an unhealthy colon. She talks about in that book. Go ahead.
Oh, I put it in the chat, but also ICP Daily is amazing. I love it.
Yes,
so much.
ICP Daily, ICP and the old ICP. So you've got ICP, and Beth, you were embarrassed that your dogs were in the picture. Mine just are loud. They're barking. Sorry. But ICP Daily is an everyday prebiotic and fiber supplement. But the ICP, the original, the mucilage, like really thick stuff that you put in water or juice and you drink it down really quick, it thickens and it becomes like a paste that scrubs the inside of the intestinal walls as it pushes old fecal matter out. So you want to make sure if you're doing a cleanse that you're using the older ICP and not the ICP Daily for that. It does have psyllium husks and some really powerful cleansers in there that will help clean the colon. But what I was going to say that Dr. Leanne talks about in that book is this concept of this megacolon. Some people are sitting with an extra 5 pounds in their colon that's just caked up against the side of the walls. And if you can imagine plumbers and what they deal with old pipes where that's just old gunk that's caked on the inside, and there's just like one little thin tube that runs through the pipe, and eventually that pipe just stops up and causes a big problem in the whole of building, right? So that's kind of how our colon can get, and that extra weight of that colon presses down on the prostate in men, and that makes their PSA go up. It presses down in the bladder and the uterus of women, and then it leads to things that we go to the doctor for, and they go, oh, well, you've got this, you've got to have bladder surgery, you've got to have a prostate outer, and it could be rooted in the colon. So this is really important that we really pay attention to what it is, and don't be afraid to talk about this stuff, because I mean, everybody has a bowel movement, or they should be, and nobody's bowel movement is pleasant, but if we talk about it and normalize it, and we can help our customers and our brand partners practice this stuff, your OGV as a brand partner would never dip down, because people would feel like that they've got to have these enzyme supplements, probiotics, and everything in their daily regimen. So one other thing we didn't talk about too much tonight, but Life 9, it's amazing. And then for your children, the Mighty Pro, those are your multi-spectrum probiotics. I prefer to take probiotics at night so they have time to really go to work while we're sleeping and resting. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. You can find me on Instagram at my name, Tina Ciesla. I have a new handle called The Holistic Walk, which is brand new on social. I have a bunch of YouTube videos, a bunch of content out there. I don't blog. I wish I did. I don't know how. But anyway, just appreciate you guys asking for me to be on this. And I'm really enjoying the Feasting Foodies group. So thank you, Stacy.
Thank you so much, Tina. That was really good information. And I appreciate all of you ladies. Thank you, Beth and Amy. And I did want to just mention, if you're not, I put it in the comment section, but if you're not in the Feasting Foodies group, if you came from another, you were invited or something, go ahead and join. We've already started it. We're a good weekend, but that's okay. You can jump in and you can just start as your day one and go your own 3 weeks. And we still have time. So you'll get the hang of it as we're going. And if you're not necessarily wanting to do the whole thing, you're still going to get a lot of benefit from it. You'll get lots of recipes and you'll learn a lot about the supplements and everything else. So feel free to join, and I appreciate everybody coming. And if you have any questions, I don't see any more in the comment section, so I think we're going to wrap it up. I have to get on another Zoom actually, so I'm gonna need to run anyway. But I appreciate all of you, and thanks for joining us. Y'all have a good night.